Hey, let's get it, man. At Amsterdam, VBCRadio.com, man. The number is 404-496-6294, man.
That's the number. Say it again.
Man, 404-496-6294. We broadcasting live from Amsterdam. I know what you're saying. How do I get there? Where can I get a ticket? You can. You get on VBCRadio.com. You get you a box of switches. Giggity. Get your quagmire on. You know, you get the giggity. You fill it up. And you know what it is,
yeah.
man. And
shout out to all the pussy we ain't got yet.
Hey, and all the ones we gonna get to the and you know, to the hoes that we ain't did yet, to the hoes that we done. To the hoes that fuck for shrimp, to the ones that fuck for cum. Hey, but they ain't gonna be able to fuck for shrimp no more. Damn, gas gonna stay the same price, but a pound of shrimp gonna be $6,000.
Hell yeah.
Man,
man, why you say that, man? You know I get choked up every time I hear something about Pimp C, man. Because right now, I just really wish Pimp C could say one more thing. I really just want him to say one more time. Hey, take that monkey shit off. You embarrassing us.
Hey, can I say Pimp will say the realest stuff that'll actually make you do that? I was in the club one time and I knew my shirt wasn't shit because it was last year and it was a Dada shirt.
Yeah.
And I heard that song come on. I just took it off in the club. I walked home with no shirt on. Look, matter of fact, you wanting it? We gonna give it to you, man. VBCRadio.com. You live in Amsterdam.
Follow me on Twitter, bitch. We still on? Okay, fuck it. Yeah. Okay.
Can I do that?
Can you do that shit? I thought you was gonna just play the song and then like it wasn't gonna be no more us, but shit. No. Fuck it.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let me get some hand claps or something going up in y'all. What's going on? Yeah. So I know if you just tuning in or you've been tuned in a little bit, I'm playing a little bit of blast from the past. You know what I'm saying? A little throwback. You know what I'm saying? That actually was recorded / broadcast in 2008 or 2009. VBCRadio.com. A platform I started back in 2007 with the homies, and that was Clayton English and Carlos Miller. They used to do a show on my platform called, VBC Radio. Their show was called Amsterdam, and every week they would come on. At the time, me and one of my closest friends, we lived together. We had me and the general used to have we used to have an apartment in downtown Decatur. We used to have an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Decatur. And in downtown Decatur, we used to, in our living room, I used to broadcast VBC Radio. We were at probably the lowest point of the station. We were doing really bad. But at the same time, I was doing I was doing promotions for this club called Blue Frog. And at the Blue Frog, we used to do a comedy night. And guess who was the host of that comedy night? Clayton English. And if you're in the hold on, let me see if Masterminds is in a comment. So if you don't know, please, I'm just giving y'all some little info. So and I was trying to wait, but this just makes sense because I played the clip. So, with Clayton English hosting our comedy night and me being the DJ, don't know how that happened, but he said, host that open mic, and then we started talking, and he started talking about wanting to do a radio show. Clayton English was like, yo, I want to do a radio show. And matter of fact, here's a picture of him hosting at the Blue Frog Cantina, which is down in, oh God, I wish I could remember. I think it's West End Mall. So anyway, I know y'all came here specifically for 85 South, but all of this stuff connects. So me and Clayton English decided to do a radio show and bring him on the VBC Radio. He starts at Amsterdam. On Amsterdam, he brings in Carlos Miller. Carlos Miller comes on, and they are going ham. And then they bring in all of these comedians. Every week, they're coming to my apartment, and they're bringing in truckloads of comedians. They rolling up weed. They smoking weed in the living room. I don't even smoke weed. You understand me? But hey, I'm like, yo, Clayton English is there. And I mean, Clayton English was the man back then. Like, I mean, Carlos and all them, they were legends because they were doing like BET stand-up and stuff like that. So they were already on television. And I'm not stupid. Like, when I see these guys coming through my apartment, I know it's gonna be something. And they just were kinetic. Like, I've got 4 episodes and I'm trying to edit it now because I'm gonna put the 4 episodes up. But like, their conversations used to be crazy. They used to have these great phone calls, like other comedians would call in. It ended up being the genesis of what this week's episode is about. This wonderful, wonderful, wonderful historical moment started the journey that, in my opinion, became the beginning of the 85 South Show. The 85 South Show is an amalgamation of pretty much everything that was being done on the radio show at Amsterdam, hosted by Clayton English. It was 2 comedians hosting, sometimes 3. You know what I mean? It was straight comedy they love to do freestyles. Like, yo, Carlos would bust a freestyle out of nowhere all of the time. They would have tons of comedian friends come in and have conversations. They would talk about popular topics. You know what I mean? Like, what we see as the 85 South Show today is really something that, and I am going to give, and I'm not trying to take nothing away from Clayton. Clayton is a freaking genius. Like, yo, Clayton's like wit and ability to jump in and catch stuff early, super great. But Carlos, I feel like everything that you witnessed, you know what I mean, on the 85 South Show, he was doing super early with Clayton English. So I feel like in the beginning of 85 South, which I can't wait to get into more of, is showing you guys, how they got started, how they got into the space that they're in, and how did this platform grow to be one of the most powerful, in my opinion, one of the most powerful media platforms for comedians and just for the entertainment industry in general. It is a completely self-contained business that brings in really, really great individuals and has fun, interactive content that is nonstop. I mean, they've got tons. You could literally spend weeks and weeks and weeks on that YouTube channel and just get new content. So anyway, let's start from the beginning. You know what I mean? Because I know you guys didn't come here to play, so I ain't gonna play with y'all. So what we gonna do is I'm going to get into the history of the 85 South Show. And for us to do that, I need to get a news source. And what better news source than a black platform? So let's go to BET and see what BET has to say about the 85 South Show. Hold on, let me switch so that way you can see it a little bit better. The 85 South Show started as a podcast and is now a traveling live show co-hosted by Carlos Miller, DC Young Fly, and Chico Bean. The show also launched after the 3 men worked together in Wildin' Out while speaking to the Breakfast Club crew in 2019. Chico explained that he and Carlos knew each other prior to Wildin' Out. At some point, Carlos approached Chico and DC Young Fly to launch the podcast show, and things took off from there. This is just organic. This is how we kick it, he explained. Well, we were going to be doing this anyway, so we might as well let the people see it. 85 show guests have included everyone from Little Duval, Killer Mike, Trinidad James, to NBA champion, Eamon, oh God, I'm horrible at names and I apologize, and B. Simone. B. Simone was on early, by the way. In the same Breakfast Club appearance, the trio explained that all of their shows are unscripted. Initially, they followed a structure for the first couple of shows to get the feel for each other until they found their groove and rhythm. Now everything is improv, and if one thing is for certain, it's that no topic is off limits for the 85 South crew. According to DC Young Fly's breakdown, Chico is the intellect for Miller's street smart wisecracking that balances out DC Young Fly's chaotic energy. All right, so if you see, if you read that article, I feel like the article is just a smidge misleading. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you like this. Now, I don't know what happens behind the scenes. I don't know off camera, how relationships are and who's hanging out with who and all of that. And that's not my business, and I really don't care. But I don't know. Something got on my hand and I don't even know how. But anyway, when you go back to the first episode 6 years ago, it's like 6 or 7 years ago, the first episode on the 85 South YouTube channel is just, it's just the two of them. It's just DC Young Fly and Carlos Miller. It's just the two of them. And then they are busting out the jokes. Also, when you see the first episodes that are live recorded, it's in that studio space that is on the screen. Obviously, there's professional cameras. Most of the time, it's a 2 to 3 camera setup, meaning that there's one wide shot. And then there's and then sometimes it's a 2 camera setup to where it's like one wide shot, and then they'll close in on either DC or they'll close in on Carlos. A lot of times the conversations are just between Carlos and DC, and then they always bring on special guests to keep the energy just up and to keep things varied. B. Simone is like one of the first guys. Just Hilarious is on mad early. You see Clayton probably after the first, like, and then once again, I'm just talking about what's on the YouTube channel episode by episode. So like you see Clayton English pop in probably like 3 or 4 episodes in, and then he's a consistent in and out throughout the history of the show. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see him, I think on here, that's Clayton English. English. That's Clayton on the right. He makes a really, really great addition to the show. And like I was saying before, if you go back and watch the beginning of this episode, you'll listen and hear, how Carlos and Clayton just have this symbiote. There's so much energy between the two of them. They play off of each other super well. You know what I mean? However, I think at that point in time when this is happening, Clayton is in and out because he's on that competition that he won, where he's trying to be like the next top comedian or whatever. There was some comedian competition that was on national television that he won. So obviously he couldn't be there to be on every episode. And then also he was also touring and doing different dates. Now, all right, now that we've kind of run through the history, and normally I have my little things that I want to show up on the screen, let me break down the blueprint. So the blueprint is as follows. Let's talk about the purpose of the platform. The purpose of the platform is so that Carlos and DC can promote what they do as comedians. They needed a platform to where they could keep their audience tapped in. There's no way to get around it. Carlos has said this very clearly. Hey, man, 85 South is just a way for me to stay connected to my fans and to touch new people so that they can get to know me. I can get to know them, and then they can. And if they love what I do on my show, they're gonna love what I do on the stage. Also, when you follow the channel in the beginning, in the early years, there's so much behind the scene content. 85 South used to be more of like a lifestyle YouTube channel where it was like clips of them on stage. There was clips of them backstage. There's clips of them in the house rolling weed. There's clips of them just tripping, where it's not structured. You know what I mean? It would be so much just somebody following them with a camera and then busting out whenever great conversation happens. They would record it, and then they would always have structured stuff, but it wouldn't always be organized. Over time, you started to see the shows get bigger. Like, one thing I do want, and this is just a prime example of why I tell people, if you got an idea or if you want to build a platform, bro, just start. Like, don't be afraid to let people see you at your early stages. Why? Because people get to see you grow. One of the most wonderful things about the 85 South Show platform is if you go to the first video and you start seeing, like, you see the growth, you see the progression, you see them go from one studio to the next, you see them craft the vibes, you can see them bringing in different people, even some of the same people that you see now that come on for different random episodes, whether it's Nav Green, whether it's like Clayton English, whom is technically one of the founders, whether it's, B. Simone, whether it's this person, and these are all established artists. But let's get back to the blueprint. I think that's a part of the blueprint, having the YouTube channel be more of a black comedian lifestyle channel. That's number one. Number two, let this be advertising for people who want to become fans of these guys. Number three, this is also a place to hone skills. This is a place, like if you look at early on, like in the beginning episodes, it would be like 85 South Show, DC Young Fly roast session, or such and such roast session. Well, what you think roast sessions are? It's still sharp and still. It's almost like freestyling for comedians. It's just a way for them to get back at each other, learn how to be quick. You need to be good on your feet, ready to rock anytime. Those are great ways to do it. You know what I mean? And then also, once again, all of them are traveling comedians. Think about it. I'm out here putting my name out. I'm putting my Instagram in. This is a great way for anybody that wants to tap in with me and stay connected. Boom, just go to 85 South Show. I don't really feel like the channel, and they even admitted it. If you look at the Earn Your Leisure episode with Carlos Miller, he admits that, this was just something we did, man. It was just, we knew the importance of creating content to advertise our shows, but we want to just give people more lifestyle. As the channel has grown, it has become more of an organized business. Them having people working in the background, they've always had sound guy. They've always had cameraman. They've always had multiple camera people. Super important, a part of the blueprint. Also, let's be real. Carlos Miller was already a celebrity before the mic went hot. Shoot, when he walked in onto my radio station, he was already somebody that was known. He may not have been white hot, but he was known as a professional comedian. He was already a traveling professional comedian. Clayton English was already an established comedian, and he was really making his bones. The same thing with DC Young Fly. He had just popped as far as comedy. But let's think about it right now. Carlos probably is the most seasoned out of everybody, but Carlos understood the importance of creating that community, creating that circle, and then bringing everybody on. So think about it. We all got our numbers up. Carlos got his numbers. They all got on Wildin' Out. And then they brought all of that energy from Wildin' Out, all of the energy from YouTube, all of that energy from Twitter and Instagram, and they all posted on the channel. Chico Bean start coming, he start popping, and everybody's bringing all that energy to the YouTube channel, to the 85 South YouTube channel. Regardless of whether you got 1 million, billion followers, regardless of whether you're even talking about it or not, you're gonna make a funny clip. It's gonna go viral. You coming to hang out, roll up some weed, something's gonna happen. It's gonna go viral. Man, there's so many clips, and I hate to say this, but there's so many clips of Nicki Minaj being made fun of by those guys. I'm quite sure they went viral 10 or 15 times. Essential to making the platform what it is. And please don't miss this gem. The reason why the 85 South Show is what it is right now, the key piece of the blueprint, is the fact that everybody's working. Everybody's working. Everybody's putting up content. Everybody's touring, doing shows, telling people where to find them. Everybody's posting clips. Everybody's bringing on other people. B. Simone wasn't popping 6-7 years ago like that, but she came on, starts bubbling. As she grows, her episodes grow. Nav Green wasn't popping as much back then. All these other different people, but these people eventually became what they became over time, whether it was because of the energy from 85 or just from the energy of their hustles individually. So that's so important. The other piece of the blueprint I will always say is, man, this a key part of the blueprint is the live show content. Oh my God. I feel like the genius that Carlos and his team brings to just comedy. I've asked this questions from all of my comedic friends in Baltimore. Why don't y'all shoot your own specials? Why don't you shoot your own content? And what do they always say? Man, I write this stuff, man. I know people that toured off the same jokes for 20 years. And I know And they'd be like, bro, but putting your stuff out online is what helps you build an audience. You trying to tell me that you don't watch these dudes for 2 hours on YouTube and it ain't going nuts? Let's be real. These dudes are funny. Their live show is amazing. And the fact that, we can get a front row seat, 2 hours, and it don't be like, come on, bro, this ain't no 30 minutes. You're talking about an hour, 2 hours of live, just pre-planned comedy with improvisation, and you get to see all of it. You get to see the audience loving it. You get to see them at their best, and then you don't just get one of them. They've got literally dozens and dozens of live performances all over the country. So what does that do? That gives you and me more reason to fall in love with them, more reason to commit than be a part of what they're doing, more reason to hit the subscribe button, more reasons to tap in, more reasons to replay it. If I'm at home on a Friday and I'm depressed and I can't go nowhere, I'm stuck in the crib, you know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I mean? Oh shoot! Shout out to my guy, Mastermind. He said Carlos hosted comedy night at Taboo Tuesday. Shout out to them. She said, I love this. Give them their roses. Most definitely, they deserve it. Yo, these dudes are super legends. You know what I mean? And then she said, Mastermind said, shout out to Clayton English, cool dude. We both worked on House of Pain. Did not know that, and I remember you probably told me that before. But shout out. So anyway, back to the biz. Blueprint. Never expecting, not necessarily needing everything to be perfect. However, continually to slowly organize and slowly build over time. Super essential. Come on, bro. Let's be completely real. Now, I want y'all to hear this. I'm gonna play a little bit of this because it's so important. This is so important because I want you to hear what these guys are saying about their new studio that they're...
Joe, are we recording, Joe?
Yeah. Recording all this shit.
We recording right now?
Yeah.
Chad, this the upgrade you said we did, bro? No, motherfucker, you said we had an upgrade. We ain't do nothing but go out the room, Chad.
You gotta stop lying to Fly, man.
You gotta stop lying to me, bro.
You tried to make it sound... He was capping like it, bro.
He been capping like... Boy, we been capping. First of all, the band wasn't playing the music.
We done moved all the shit to
the
walkway.
CD. We was in here, y'all.
Wasn't bothering shit.
Moved out.
For what?
To come out here.
For what?
We're in the hallway.
Why?
He said we upgraded.
Say what? Nigga, we go.
So I'm doing this for a specific reason. I want y'all to give me a little levity on this one. I want people to understand. Sometimes talent don't see the vision. Sometimes talent is so focused on talent, or they so comfortable being, what it is, they don't see it. Chad understood we need space, cause they went from what I just showed you. They went from something like this, which is a smaller studio space. You see how cramped that space is? And it's not cramped. I'm just saying it's just a more confined space, equipment all over the place with a table. They sit at a chair, they can drink. I get it. It's stupid comfortable. But to move from what that it was, we can go. It's more space. It gives them the ability to entertain more individuals. It gives them more freedom. Yo, especially if you're the type of animated team like Carlos and DC Young Fly, they like to jump all over the place. They like to laugh. They like to move around. You know what I'm saying? Even being able to have a more intimate setting for interviews, man, that space ended up being critical. But listen to how they talk about
to us.
Cause niggas be lying.
He lied to us.
Niggas be lying.
He lied to us.
Oh
niggas
my
be
God.
lying their ass off. I said they lying their ass off.
All right, you guys, we get it. So they didn't like the space initially, but now, if you look at where they've evolved to, man, look at how beautiful that space is. Look at all of those images and all of those pictures. Look at the t-shirts. You know what I mean? Look at how they've been able to turn that space and utilize that space, every inch of it, to help expand the brand. Look at how all of these elements have helped them and helped us fall deeper and deeper in love with the platform. You know what I'm saying? So that's the blueprint. And building and on what to do with it. And what do you do with it? After you've got your platform to millions of subscribers, you're doing millions of views a week. Well, what do you do with the blueprint? You pivot. Which, now mind you, I've always been on the fence about this type of platform, but the subscription platform, they have started their own, pretty much like Netflix, called a Channel 85. And Channel 85 is just a paywall for them to put all of their content behind so that people can tap in and spend money on a monthly subscription. So let me pull this up on the screen so people can see it. So yeah, like this is what we got. Channel 85. You know what I mean? You can subscribe right now. You can use iPhone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Fire TV. You know, they got a thing called Smart TV. I don't know nothing about it. Instant access to all of the channel's videos. Now, they not only give you early access to their episodes, but they also have the tour footage. They also have oh snap! So it's $85 a year, or it's $8.50 a month. They have Live at the Opry. And they also have, let's see, 5 on it, which is like an intimate stand-up comedy situation. Let's see, what other shows do they have? Let's see, they got a bunch of shows. They have like a car show that Carlos does. You know what I mean? Let's see, browse. Yes, please. I'm trying to browse here. Can we get all of the shows? So you got the 80 Vibe, which is the show where it's just live performances from artists that we know we love from the underground. You got the Project Carlos, which Carlos is fixing up old cars and, you know what I'm saying, buying old cars. You got the Roach Motel, which is a whole season of cartoons. You got Cats Cafe, you got NVIP, you've got tons and tons of other content, some of which was on the YouTube channel, and some of which is not on YouTube at all. It's exclusively on that platform. Pivot, baby. That's what you do. You create content, and then eventually what happens? Boom. You create a big, gigantic paywall, and you pop all of that content behind there. Then, also, the pivot. The comedy tours, independent comedy tours. And I'm not talking about in the smaller comedy houses. We're talking about arenas, 12, 15, 20,000 people. Come on, y'all know 85 South Show, because if you clicked on this, you know about how 85 do it. And then they packing out them venues, man. They doing it big. Yes, all individually, all of them are famous, and all of them do a phenomenal job. But them coming together like the three-headed monster that they like to call themselves, man, creates a crazy scenario where, man, the people get wonderful, great conversation. This is another image of the current studio space. And I'm quite sure they didn't imagine, I'm super sure they didn't imagine things being the way it is, you know, the way they was complaining. I'm quite sure they were not prepared. When they first saw this, and they sitting there they going off about the studio not being right, and then, you know, them not knowing that it would eventually turn into this. Man, that's vision. And that's what I want to give a big shout out to their team for. So let's go into the technology, equipment, and tech used. All right. Now, let me go ahead and press y'all a little bit of the goodness in the background. And then, like, let me do that. Let's see. All right. These guys have been shooting content forever and a day. So when we talk about equipment, most of them are, they use those Canon, they're using Canon cameras. I think they're using camcorders as well, because a lot of that stuff is long form content. Where when you start seeing this setup that they currently have, so the old setup would be 2 to 3 cameras. This setup is 3 to 5 cameras, where, you know what I mean, you know, Carlos has his own dedicated camera. DC ends up with a dedicated camera. There's a dedicated wide shot. There's a camera dedicated to the guest. And then you've got a moving camera. There's definitely a light pack in that space. Even in this, on day one, they have definitely dedicated lighting that suits them best, which was probably one of the main reasons why he wanted to pull them out of that smaller room and put it into the bigger room, is because he wanted it to be more of a television set. Even though they called it a hallway, by being in that space and widening out everything, it gave them the ability to add in lights, add in more detailed sound so that they can mic multiple places in there. It also gives them an opportunity to put the producer in the room. So if you look right here in that shot, you see the guy with the guitar and all of that. Well, he's a producer and a beat maker. He makes beats. And like something that Carlos has always loved, I mean, even back when he was on Amsterdam, you know what I mean, is he loves freestyling. Like he used to freestyle in our living room, man. He used to love freestyling. He loves music. He loves playing music. And obviously them understanding that they can't use copywritten content and you can't use, other people's records. Well, the next best thing is get you a producer in there that can play some music live. So why not? Boom. Now you got a producer in there. He's got beats. He's got a drum machine. He's got a guitar. And then he might even be able to add a few other instruments. They probably got enough space to add some more instruments in there if they just wanted to have a jam session. And a lot of times, if you watch the show, they do jam sessions where they freestyle or, they just want to vibe, add music to increase the vibe of the show, to make people more comfortable. Also, it just makes the platform more unique. Never heard a podcast have like a producer. Like, who does that? Like, I never heard, I just never thought of, not make beats, never thought of being like, yeah, let's just make some beats on the spot and then just play them in the background of the show. But super shout out to them, super creative on their part. In addition to that, you got the producer, you got the lighting, you got the mics, you got the cameras, and then having the space. From what I've learned watching the show over time is that space that they're utilizing is actually a Black-owned studio. And it's got multiple rooms. And I think they've pretty much got an agreement where they pay him X amount of dollars and that's their space. So they don't have to take any equipment out. They lock it up after the show is done. So you don't have to worry about, theft of lights. You don't have to worry about moving stuff around and breaking the set down and setting it back up again, which if you do podcasts like I do podcasts, and I've been doing podcasts out of my apartment for the last 3 years with lights and cameras, it's exhausting. I swear to you, it's exhausting to have to set up. Every time I want to do my podcast, I got to set the lights up, set the camera up, set the thing up. And then you have to reset all of your settings every time you do it. And I be like, when people be like, well, why your mic ain't right? Why the sound ain't right this week? Or why this lighting ain't right? It's like, because I have to set this up every time. And I'm not a professional light person or a professional camera person. I'm good with the audio. I'm a professional audio person. But when you got to add all of this stuff in, man, it increases the probability of something not going right. So when you can have a space that's just dedicated for what you do, and then you can set up the cameras and leave them, and then set all of the settings and leave them, and then you can lock a door and not have to worry about people touching it, stealing it, messing with it. Yo, I'm telling you, that is a secret to the game. Like having a space where everything is already set when you walk in the door. Oh my God, that is so gangster. All right, let's talk numbers and demographics. Okay, let's be real. These guys are all celebrities. They all have millions and millions of followers on social media. We don't have to get into that. But let's talk about the numbers. From what I was told, listening to them and having conversation, even Charlemagne the God, who hosts their audio on Black Effect, what I hear is that they doing about $1 million a week on the podcast numbers, meaning that just audio only, they doing $1 million. The average video that they drop, doing no less than, like, if they have nobody on it and it's just a squad, a lot of times it does 800,000 to 1 million every episode. Some other times, man, like when they got celebrities on, man, that thing doing 1 million, 1.5 million, like, and that's just in the first 7 days. That ain't got nothing to do with overtime numbers. So, like, we can only imagine, like, they probably got 1 billion streams on their YouTube. They've definitely got crazy numbers on what you call it. So when you're talking about advertising, when you're talking about like revenue generated, you know what I mean, with original content, like they're not using clips of people's songs, so they don't have to worry about getting shut down. Now, let's just say, like, if we talking about YouTube numbers, because they curse on that platform, their advertising numbers won't be as high. But because every episode is almost 2 hours long, they probably generating 50 to 100 grand an episode. Like, being completely honest with you, you know what I mean? Like, and that ain't got nothing to do with advertisers. That's just what YouTube is kicking out to them. And they could be doing way, and I'm telling you, that's a lowball number. When I say 100,000 an episode, that's a lowball number. I mean, like, if they weren't doing any cursing or anything like that, they could easily do $1 million an episode. And that's why I say it's like $1 million an episode. That's why I'm saying it's a lowball number. I know it's more than 100,000 an episode. That ain't got nothing to do with merch. And you know, if you are 85 South Show fan, that merch don't last long. When they drop them hoodies and them t-shirts and them hats, them things go. They go. You know what I mean? In addition to that, let's see what else. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how their subscriptions are going, but I hear that it's doing well. So, you know, you've got money off of the merch, you got money off that YouTube channel, you've got money off of the other stuff. Then talking about the touring numbers. The tour, remember? I just showed you. Remember I was just talking about the tour? Oh, that one? Remember that tour that I was talking about? The tour. You know, the arena with 12,000 people that's paying $60 to $80 a ticket, 12,000 people. I'm talking about that's the nosebleed. That ain't talking about the front row. So you can only imagine. They all probably getting 20,000 a piece a show. Plus the merch that they sell at the venue. All right. Hey, I'm chilling. Okay. All right. Jay, shut the fuck up. You talking too much. All right. What's missing? What's missing? That's a good question, man. I really feel like what's missing from the 85 South Show, and this is just my personal opinion. First of all, they've already started to diversify. So any of y'all that's like, man, they can have more than one show on there. They already do have more than one show. It's called the Poor Minds Podcast. You can easily go find them. All you got to do is Google them. Two fine chicks. They've been on that joint forever. So it's nothing. You know what I mean? If you want to go down there and check them out, you could do that. So they've already started to expand. I feel like they should be expanding more. So like with the Poor Minds Podcast, I feel like, I know they were trying to get things going with a couple of different people. They were talking about establishing some more content, but I definitely feel like that's a must. But I want it to be on the 85 South channel. I feel like more diversification, maybe even showing more of like, and this is probably where it gets a little sticky, because approaching DC Young Fly and being like, yo, Fly, why don't you do something on your own? I feel like DC Young Fly is not going to want to do that because he does movies now. He's been doing movies. He's got his music career. So getting him to stop and do not necessarily a low budget, but getting him to do like a series of something on his own is probably not worth it for him because there's so much that he's doing individually. And I would say the same thing with Chico Bean. These guys are getting big checks on networks. So getting them to come back and just do something on, you know, the 85 South channel outside of the podcast, it's just something that it's just not, you know, they don't have a lot of time for. But I feel like the long-term benefits of taking that time and coming back to add more content, even if they, you know, kept individual ownership of it and then leased, you know, I'm about to say lease, licensed it to the 85 South channel, I think that will be fire. I definitely feel like Carlos, being the sensei that he is, the person that brings everybody together, I think he should be really, really using his brain to start figuring out how we can start maneuvering the new talent that's around his atmosphere. Like, how can we start maneuvering more of those guys to the forefront? How we can start putting them in the position to keep building the 85 South network so that we can, start transitioning out. Because there's going to be a point in time, and I tell you, mark my words, as I say it right now, 7/6/22, meaning July the 6th, 2022. DC Young Fly is out of here. Chico out of here. Carlos out of here. Who gonna have time to do a YouTube channel podcast when them big movies take off, or that single goes platinum, or you know what I'm saying? Who's gonna have time for that, bro? They gonna be out of here. Like, you know what I mean? All it takes is for some really super big something to happen where they become the real megastar, and your time becomes that much shorter. You just got to do what you got to do, man. So, like, I really want people to take that into account. That's why I said, man, it's so important that you really need to start focusing on the next generation. Get those guys in there to start transitioning out. Because at the end of the day, this is a business. Next, I definitely feel like with that comes creating more content for the channel means more content for the 80 for the paywall. You know what I'm saying? More diversified content. What else is missing? I feel like they've got everything else on lock. Torn, you know what I'm saying? Clothes, merch, brand deals. I mean, who does it like 85, bro? They really killing it. So salute to them. The future? What's the future of this creation? The future of this creation is super simple for me. I definitely feel like the reason why I feel like this is the future is because this is what I feel like the LOL network was supposed to be. This is what in my opinion, and I could be wrong, this is what I felt like Kevin Hart was trying to do. He was trying to create a network, make it super powerful, get comedians involved, allow them to do content, you know what I'm saying? And hey, let's build something that's for us that can take us to another level. And the LOL network has done that to a certain extent, you know what I mean? But I feel like the influence, I feel like 85 South Show just has more influence than what the LOL network has. Like, seeing what the 85 South Show has done, you know what I mean, without, having a big megastar involved, without having that big corporate dollar involved, they are way more influential than, say the LOL network. But no disrespect to it, because I love the LOL network. I just, whatever. So I see them being, I would hope, and I hope to see that this platform becomes and continues to be the launching platform for great black comedians. Whereas Carlos and Clayton and DC Young Fly, they become the counsel to just say, hey, man, this young guy, he ready to take it to another level. All right, come on, bro, let's get you a podcast. Come on, let's get you a show. Come on, let's put you on tour. Like, you know what I mean? You're the next generation of, the 85 South Show. You know what I mean? And just helping those comedians get to that next level, giving them that diversity. You know what I mean? And I remember them even saying, like, hey, man, we got the infrastructure for the merch. So look, we can build a show, create the merch for them, put them on tour. We can literally change somebody's life just within our own network. Think about that. If you're controlling your own touring, you are controlling your own merch, you are controlling what you put out there, bro, you can turn anybody from nobody to somebody. You can take anybody that's got great talent, that can hold their own, and you can package them up and you can push them out there. So 85 South has the capacity and the capability of being that for the next 200 black comedians over the next 20, 30 years. So that's what I see the future of the 85 South Show to be. And with that being said, I want y'all to drop your comments in the comment section. Tell me right now, what do you feel like are the greatest moments in the 85 South Show. Who do you love the most? Is it DC Young Fly? Is it Carlos Miller? Is it Clayton English? And where do you see the future of the 85 South Show being? I mean, if you like what I'm saying, drop a comment, show some love. And for real, don't forget, if you haven't done so, this is the 3rd episode of the Explain podcast, man. I did one about Oprah, and we did one about The Breakfast Club. So tune in next week. We got somebody else that's going to be on. We're going to be talking more about Mo. So make sure y'all tap in. We love y'all. We'll check you next time. It's your boy JS1 Supplier. Peace.